next time you meet me in Gate City.
Oh, Cody Pope. I know Cody Pope.
Our friend is Cody, and we not having a good day.
Smack dab in the middle of all that. That was beautifully said, and I love that you said when you have a microphone.
And we were able to do it.
It's about just showing up.
Yeah.
What up, world? Welcome back. Welcome home. Welcome to the first time. Glad to have you all here at Cody Central once again. I'm excited to be here tonight with one of my good friends. I'm excited to see you guys who decide to pop in tonight. We got some wild cards on deck for tonight. It's going to be a good one, though. Let me first get into music of the week. Well, or actually, let me play some videos while we let some of the homies come in here, actually. We did eventually sell out of the Wayne's World hats, but I've gotten a lot of feedback from people saying that we should reprint them for next year. So I think we may do that. And if I do, we may do a pre-order on the site. So if you didn't get a chance to see those, this is a perfect opportunity to check that out. Big shout out my brother Ryan. Big shout out to Jen. Appreciate everybody popping in. All right, so let's get into some of the week action real quick, because this one was exciting. I think we might have kind of touched on this last week, but if not, let me digress. So, I mentioned often that growing up, I was amidst the punk and hardcore universe, and one of the bands from Boston that has had such a global impact through like the hardcore scene is a band called Blood for Blood. And during the For the Children festival that happened earlier in December, they announced on the afternoon of day 2 that Blood for Blood was doing a surprise reunion. That was insane in and of itself. And then the next day on Monday, they announced that they had signed a new record deal with Roadrunner. And they also released the first single from their new album. And so I wanted to mention that. It's called You're Gonna Have to Kill Me from Blood for Blood. It's available everywhere that you listen to music. If you're an old Blood for Blood fan, this song really carries the same sonic spirit and heart, but lyrically, it's a lot more mature and of the times. And it's really cool to see a band like this go through this kind of development. And sonically, they just fucking rip. They sound phenomenal. It's such a great record. I cannot wait for the album. I'm so fortunate. Shout out to my buddy Joe Schulte, who got me tickets for the Blood for Blood show in Boston at Big Night Live. They announced their tour when they did the record release announcement and all that. And they had a Middle East date booked, and it sold out in under 60 seconds. They sold 500 tickets in under 60 seconds. And so they ended up going to Big Night Live for a second night and then ended up selling out that as well. So it's just really cool to live in this time period where this band has come back after being in the shadows for so long, and really just making an impact on this and like bringing generations of hardcore kids together. Wherever you listen to music, go check out You're Gonna Have to Kill Me from Blood for Blood. And if you're on YouTube, hopefully you are, and hopefully you're subscribed to our channel. There's a ton of footage out there of Blood for Blood's reunion set from the For the Children Boston. So recommend watching that. That is a blast. Yeah. And with that said, I don't have a movie of the week this week, only because I'm going to be starting a new podcast this week called Hellhound Film Club, which I will talk to you guys about in a little bit. But when I do have reviews, as you guys probably know from watching the show, they always go on Letterboxd first. So with the Film Club podcast coming back into rotation, I'm going to have even more reviews and pieces of content related to movies that I'm watching, all kind of living in Letterboxd. So if you're into the movie stuff like that, I really implore you to check that out and follow me over there. And here's a brief little tidbit about that. Big shout out to everybody that's in the chat. So with that said, I'm going to bring on my guest tonight. I'm excited to have him on. We just decided to do this last minute. So he is, he's a great friend to have in my life. And one small reason why is a night like tonight, where I didn't have anything lined up because I was so wrapped up in doing Hellhound for the Holidays stuff that I didn't really keep up with this the way that I should have. And I don't know if his bat radar was going off or something, but he hits me up today and goes, "You need a guest for the pod tonight?" And I was like, "Yo, honestly, I was going to cancel the pod because I had nothing planned." And, but I was like, "But if you want to do it, I'm down." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm down." And I was like, "All right." I was like, "I'm going to make it happen. Let's do it." And, it's dope because honestly, so far, there's a lot of you guys tuning in, and I really appreciate that. Tonight's the first night that we added the Hellhound Publishing Facebook channel to the stream as well. So shout out to everybody that's tuned in from there. Hellhound Till We're Underground as always. Tonight's guest, as I was going on about, is a great friend of mine, is a musician in a number of different groups, including Dead Harrison, Stoned Shadows, and Cody Pope and the Keyholders. He's also a music instructor. He's also a music YouTuber. He's also an engineer, and you can catch him throughout the New England music community. Please drop some applause in the comments and show some love to my brother, Axile, Thraxx Drums, Beighley.
What up? What it do?
What up? What up? How you living, brother?
Doing all right. I saw in that clip of the beginning with you and Al Caprillion. That's a deep New England cut right there, dude.
Straight up, dude. People don't know. I used to work at the Nashua. So I used to work at the Nashua Pilot Shop, which was at the Nashua Airport. And so basically, we were the retail store that sold the maps that the FAA made. And we sold the headsets that people would use for their aircrafts and shit like that. And so it was this weird kind of place where you or I would have no reason to go there, but people will fly in and come shop at this place because there's only so many of these places in the country that sell these maps and shit like that. It was a job. I found it on Craigslist, honestly, but it was pretty awesome.
There's a lot of hidden Nashua history with either Channel 9, WMUR, and all that stuff. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any of that stuff, or even what was he in Channel 50? I forgot what his channel 3 or 4 letters were, but that whole high pressure thing was very prevalent in my childhood growing up, and this guy, does he really know any type of weather at all? Or is he just you don't know if he's a comedian or not? And when I was growing up, I was in Massachusetts for a while. So coming to New Hampshire, there was very much more Al Caprillion around then, around that time. So seeing that, I was like, wow, That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
That okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. You just that's that I got lost in my thought earlier. So the reason that I met Al Caprillion is because I worked at the Nashua pilot shop at the Nashua airport, and that place was owned by a guy named Keith, and Keith used to be a producer for the news station that Al Caprillion worked at. So him and Al Caprillion did the news together for like 20 some odd years. So Al Caprillion would come in and just shoot the shit with him, and like they would like go out for lunch and shit. So one day I just had to shoot my shot, and I was like, hey, if this is inappropriate, I understand, but could I like get a picture? And he was like, of course, man. Like, he was super cool. And so I checked that off my New Hampshire bucket list. I don't know too many rappers that have a joint with Al Caprillion.
With Al Caprillion.
Just saying.
Al K. What you guys call him, Al K or something?
Al K. Al K. Al K.
But. So how you been, man?
Oh, I'm living, man. Honestly, Hellhound for the holidays was wild. Huge thank you to everybody that came out and supported that. Huge thank you to everybody that donated toys for that. That was an interesting night. It was a lot of like emotional highs and lows and whatnot, but like ultimately it was like great to be in this room with all of these people, and it was cool that we were able to get so many people to like get involved in the cause, and now there's an outlet for it because of the spot. And so
Shout outs to Mike McDowell.
Yeah,
really
big shout out to Mike McDowell. I'm really grateful that we were able to pull this thing off, and I feel like doing it for next year is going to be like, now I'm way more like wired in as to like how to make this thing great next year and not line up too many things before it.
That tree was like essential. But
shout out to Faye. Big shout out to Faye. Faye is a regular at the spot, and she picked up that tree from somebody on Marketplace in the stand and brought it to the spot to donate for our show. When I made a post looking for like, I basically was like, hey, I'm looking for volunteers and like Christmas donations and like decorations and stuff like that. And she was like literally the like one of like less than a handful of people that hit me back and was like, yo, I'm gonna look for some shit. I think I know where to go, blah blah blah. And I was like, yo, thank you so much. Like, that's cool. And she ended up pulling through, and I was sad that she wasn't able to make it, but I get it. And man, shout out to her. She's awesome.
It was perfect. And then you had lights. You had the perfect amount of lights to put on the tree, which is just,
yeah, I've just been carrying those around in my fucking merch box forever.
You never know when you're gonna need a set of lights.
True. Now I feel like I'm gonna get like a bunch of small boxes and just keep lined up with them forever now.
Might as well.
I gotta get some clips too, put them on tables and stuff.
One thing, at least to get it started here, is we're in talking form. I'm also an a-hole. So like when it comes to what you said about Blood for Blood of being maturing after so many years of being away, not irrelevant, but away. There's a difference.
Yeah.
That like there's a lot of bands that have been coming out lately that have been around since we were kids. One of which I actually do want to say that Deftones' new album really
Private Music.
It is just like the old stuff. Like it's not their best album, and I'm gonna branch off with, you know, Tool's Fear Inoculum is their heaviest album, but not their best album.
Yeah.
With Private Music, it's not their best album, but it's definitely something that we needed as fans. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Does that make sense to you?
I can definitely understand that for sure. Yeah. Like I think I agree with you in a lot of sense, where it's like Private Music is one of the better records that they've done in a while. but they had to overcome this kind of period of not doing their best work.
Yeah. And I like Ohms for what it is. I'm not a big fan of gore, but I do as a basicality, because that's all opinion. Where I'm getting at is they've been a band since the early 90s, mid 90s. And like for them to still sound that good is a testament to how good of a musicianship they have. Same thing with your side with Blood for Blood, that like hearing that new track and hearing their old stuff, it is not the same. It's mature. And I think that's what you aspire to be as a band, not to be stagnant, but still keep your old integrity, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You can't like go back and record things shitty when you have access to new tools to do things differently, but you can really keep the soul of your songs, I think, is like the thing that's important. You know, it's like we want bands to evolve. We want bands to try new things and step out of their comfort zone. We just don't want them to stray too far from the soul of what it was that brought us to them.
Yeah. And as a formality, Tool, obviously a well-known band, that they've stayed consistently the same throughout their 2000s. The early 90s was punkish, but they finally found it in Lateralis. But it's very rare, it's not common for bands to be 20, 30 years old and continue their longship. Here's a hot take, and I think I told you this when we were hanging out, that Parkway Drive after Atlas, not a fan of the whole rapping over post-hardcore-ism, even though I'm a fan of new metal. I love new metal. I'll stand right here and say I'm a big Limp Bizkit fan. That's not what I'm talking about. He's a better screamer singer in a matter of sense, that to hear him rap was like, what is going on? So it's very rare to keep your integrity while exploring other avenues and still keep the same thesis. Well, like what other bands do you know of in the rock sector or hardcore sector that you've seen like change direction and not make it?
Ooh, it's sad, man. But I guess,
and this isn't shaming anybody. I'm asking it pure.
So I think what's tough in hardcore,
you know?
Especially when you mention hardcore specifically, hardcore has this very weird thing about longevity for some reason, where it's like, I can't tell you the number of bands that do demos that get like worldwide recognition and then just don't follow it up with anything. Like, it happens more often than you would believe. Or a band will have a year where they're on top and then they decide to break up because everybody wants to like go and do different shit, and your band has become so big. You know what I mean? Like, even like, have you ever heard of Title Fight?
No.
Title Fight was this like melodic hardcore band. They were like younger kids than us, but they had really like powerful, like soulful kind of like melodic shit. And dude, the fan base that they cultivated is probably similar to like it's somewhere between like Have Heart and Fugazi.
Okay.
Like, all right. Like they could go around the world and set like almost like, or like what Turnstile's doing right now, something of that, like, you know what I mean? But that's like the magnitude that band had, and they just called it quits. Like they were around for like,
just stopped playing, or
they just like they went on hiatus and have never come back. And like people have probably offered them dumb money, and they just continue to turn it down, and they just, for whatever reason, don't follow through with it. And so it seems like hardcore kids are hard to be bought, if that makes sense, you know? Like sometimes like a band just needs to end because certain people were like the soul of the writing, and like when those people don't care or when they throw the towel in or whatever, it's like, all right, this band's not going to be the same. Like don't keep doing this.
Yeah, there's a couple of bands where if you lose either by death or by just walking away, you can definitely tell the change in dynamics or even change in songwriting at that point. Throwaway example, Slipknot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great example though.
Like I remember distinctly when Paul and Joey were still around and they were powerhouses. And yes, you know, keep a thing going, but also you can tell that after the unfortunate leaving of both of them that they don't sound the same.
Yeah,
and
I
think that's what
this thing out.
I think that's what Joey was trying to do with Vimic. Alternatively, trying to do something that was in his wheelhouse, but more. But there's I'm trying to think of like other examples, like say like Creed. Let's follow me on this one.
Okay. I'll see you there.
So Tremonti, bassist and the drummer of Creed, they did another band called Alter
Bridge.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And I'm not a fan of Alter Bridge. I'm barely a fan of Creed. Barely, because I like the sound of the band itself. But like that's a band that has changed a lead singer and has done something different.
Yeah,
it's very rare for something to happen like that and actually marketable without it changing. Like, or say when Black Sabbath fired Ozzy and brought in like Dio.
Yeah,
like at the time he was in Rainbow with Richie Blackmore, so like that was like Heaven and Hell. Heaven and Hell is such a great album throughout, but you know it's not Black Sabbath, truly. Like it's such a weird album that I like, but at the same time I'm always reminded that like he had a whole different other career while Dio was taking over reins. It was weird.
Dude, I want to shout out in the comments, Hawaiian Irish 1 shouted out Have Heart. So I know they know what's up. And this is, it's hard to see with the lighting, but this is the What Counts demo from 2005 that I've been holding on to since I saw them at New Direction in Haverhill, Mass, which was this like, used to be like I think like a coffee shop basically, and then they just took that out and it just became like a venue. But yeah, it's crazy to think of like this band went from playing in little holes in the wall to literally selling out festivals all over the world and like playing to thousands and thousands of kids. It's like unreal the level of impact this band had. So it's always dope. See my fellow hardcore kids out in the comments.
There's a lot of you mentioned Turnstile. I was having a conversation I think a couple days ago about, and even bringing it back even further. Do you know the bands Hum and Silver Sun Pickups? Do those two names ring a bell?
Yeah, for sure.
That like for shoegaze or for alternative rock back in the 90s, early 2000s, those are not the pioneers, but they were like the pillars of what to follow by, because a lot of people followed Hum in the mid 90s because of that whole post grunge era. They kind of did it correctly without doing anything at all, and as well as Silver Sun Pickups is such a different category of rock that when you think about now in 2025, Turnstile is the only band that does anything remotely close to any of those bands I just mentioned, which is wild to me. But it also like I didn't put them on the map because I wasn't listening to that type of stuff yet. And now that I have in their slower era, as you said, they were in the hardcore.
Yeah,
beginning, right?
they were an active hardcore band. Like I would never take that away from them. They were active participants writing great hardcore music, and they just had a little more melody and a little more like songwriting prowess. And I think that like where they're at today sonically just shows the great musicianship that they had this whole time. Like I could never hate on them because they seem to just let their work speak for themselves in every record they do. Well, I will, without like critiquing too much, between the two records, I didn't think there was like a ton of difference. But then as you start to break down the songs, you really see that like their songwriting has just gotten to a place that like some bands are never going to get to. Like they're very comfortable in what they're doing, and they're also pushing a lot of boundaries as to what is like acceptable or what is expected maybe. I think people are a lot more open nowadays, but I just don't think people expect change as rapid as we've seen with a band like Turnstile.
Yeah, that's fair. Another hot take may or may not be considerable thumbs down or thumbs up or thumbs down, and I don't care at this point. It took me all year. This is how I'm gonna say this band, but before I do, I've been meticulously listening to them for over a year and a half, and I'm like, now I get it. Like before I was like, I don't know, I kind of get why the gimmick is there and why it's not, but now I'm fully 100% I understand, and I'm 100% a fan. A Sleep Token is such a underdog in the metal scene, strictly because it's not for some weird reason, even in the metal scene, it's not considered metal, and I don't know why. Maybe we can extrapolate on that.
Underdog seems like a strong term. I can't.
It is.
It's hard for me to speak on it because I'm not as breadth in that.
They're not a new band. They've been a band for like 10 plus years. They're not a new band, but like for some weird reason, they've been slowly creeping up on people's radar. Like say what I just heard today too. I don't know if this is real or not, or if this is fucking trick bait, but I heard that Sleep Token in the Billboard charts is now ahead of Taylor Swift, and I think that's hilarious.
That's awesome. I dig that.
Like, I again, no shame towards anything, but like it's a weird happenstance that a band that's been around for 10 years, they're not a new band, that has traversed many different genres, and it seems like they're like the Tool fans of their own fan base, because they seem a little pretentious, they seem a little like altruistic, and I get it. But again, like I like a gimmick if it works. Slipknot is a gimmick and it works. Mushroomhead is a gimmick and it works. With Sleep Token, I thought it was cheesy at first. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna like this. But for some reason, after the Summoning, I went back and I went forward, and then now this new album that just came out is such a breath of fresh air when it comes to metal. It's not just heavy riffs or whatever. There's some synth there. There's some melodic parts singing, and there's just so much going on that I don't understand the hate, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I hate them, but it's interesting as to where you say you like a gimmick. I think gimmicks scare me personally, where it's like when I see a gimmick, my first thought is, all right, we're making up for some lack of musicianship here, or we're making up for something where this is going to be a spectacle. It's like the joke when you see people driving these like big pickup trucks out in the street or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, It's like, oh, what are you making up for? And so it just like bums me out. Like like even Slipknot. Like I can remember when Slipknot was active, like when the self-titled album came out and all of that shit. Like I had friends who were into it, and so I definitely heard it. But as like a punk rock kid, I was like, oh, this is new metal. Like this is like some fucking Hot Topic shit. Like I'm good. Like I just didn't like give it the kind of chance until it took me like getting into like high school, and then like post high school and shit like that, where my taste got heavier and heavier and heavier as time went on. But I was just such a fucking asshole elitist little prick that I didn't like see the musicianship of something like that, because I just saw a bunch of goofballs in costumes, and I was like, this is stupid, says the guy who likes people with mohawks and circle pits. Like my goofballs don't cover their face. They fucking break bottles over people.
Yeah, you can see them at least.
Yeah, exactly. But I also like used to love a VFW show, with a bunch of speakers and a band fucking hanging from the gym equipment. Like, and while I still like that, now I think more and more about like stage production and like how to do lighting and how to do fucking like an entrance and how to make the experience better for the audience and all of these things that it's like, man, teenage me wouldn't have given a shit. It would have been like, I found a place that'll let us plug in these guitars, show up, like tear it down.
I have a practice amp and a microphone and a dream. Show up.
Cody Pope and the key holders. You were close. I don't want to be a gatekeeper, but I'm always down to be a key holder.
I mean, even Limp Bizkit was a gimmick too, and like I think back then when I was a kid, I went from thrash to urban or to R&B and rap and stuff, where I didn't really have too much of a bridge to any alternative. That was not until later. So like I went from like classic rock and thrash straight to like Casey and JoJo, Dre, fucking Run DMC or DMX or My Life. I pray for someone like you. And like, or Brandy or Mary J. Blige, all that stuff. Like, I mean, like 95 and on was like a golden age for me to get into rap and hip hop. Like I wasn't brought in the 2000s era. That got kind of boring for me. So like I was just surrounded by it because I was in Massachusetts. You know what I mean? So yeah. I had an.
I was gonna say it's interesting because in contrast, I kind of grew up in that where it's like when I hit like 7th grade, that's when like the G Unit craze blew up,
right?
And it was like G Unit and Dipset, like that was everything.
Huge.
Yeah,
like,
but that was like that was the wave at the time.
Moray was huge. Fucking G Unit was huge. Rough Riders was huge.
Yeah.
Like,
but Rough Riders had that like late 90s run to kind of like propel them forward. I wouldn't necessarily think of them as much of a 2000s era as I would like having 2 platinum records in the 90s.
More like early D12 or early Ludacris was like in the early 2000s, or like I had such a spotty left and right signal when it came to learning about hip hop, because I was surrounded by it, but I wasn't really like guided. So like and then like in the 2000s, I still wanted to be, I still loved grunge, but nobody was listening to grunge when I was a kid. So like Audio Slave was like my bridge to that. Now that's a trio too, or a duo. No, a trio. Brad Wilkes, Comberford, and Morello. Like they can traverse doing rock and roll stuff and hip hop stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So listening to Audioslave was like my bridge to both, because I'm like, hey, I'm still listening to Soundgarden, but I'm still listening to Rage. So it's like kind of in between, like with Zach De La Rocha and stuff. Like when he started doing his own stuff too, which was strictly, beatnik rap, just crazy, just electronic, and then his voice. That's it. So I didn't really see the difference, I guess. So I didn't really get into like heavier stuff until like post-hardcore. Like
were you into like Norma Jean?
I wasn't a fan of Norma Jean, strictly because the drums were just so sporadic. I'm not a fan of Mars Volta for the same reason. I get it, I understand it, but it's not. It's just a lot of stuff. Where, let's say, Parkway Drive or Under Oath. I've seen Under Oath like 3 times. I love Under Oath.
Yeah, Under Oath. That's like the OGs.
Love those guys. Like Chiodos, they're back. Like Anthony Green is back with them right now, and they're touring right now. Seosin and Chiodos, same thing. But there's a bunch of bands from that era that didn't really make it. They stayed in that era and kind of didn't not evolve, but they didn't like go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like say Atreyu is such a letdown, because they were such a great band, and then getting bought out by Warner. They went out to Warner Brothers, and then like now they're singing and not screaming. It's like, oh, come on, guys. No. I guess maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe I'm just an asshole.
No, I don't think you're wrong. It's like, so this is
I'm just not a fan of that, I guess.
This is like switching gears a lot, but I think you'll understand why in a moment. Are you familiar with the band Morphine?
No.
So Morphine was a rock band from the 90s from Cambridge, Massachusetts. And they were a 3-piece band. Let me see if I have this album right here. I was hoping that if I was organized, I would just fucking yank it out.
Video games on one side and movies on the other?
Huh?
Do you have like movies on one side and video games on the other?
So this is I've got music right all through here, but then I've got some movies, and then I've got some books, and then this is all books, and then this is all movies, and then I've got vinyl over here. And then I have all the shit that I brought home from the studio mixed with some books and movies.
You kind of remind me of the angry video game nerd. Just got like everything. You're like an archive of all physical media.
Dude, now it's like you have to nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I get you.
Dude, even today, like they just announced that they're pulling Arrested Development from Netflix, including the seasons that they produced. What does it cost you to leave the show that you made on your own fucking platform? Like,
listen, this has been a thing.
What do I not understand about this? And I don't really. It's not like it's not my show or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's just like, it just seems crazy. It's like you're just taking shit off just to take it off.
So this has been going on for a little bit now, and I might as well be transparent because I need to raise awareness. And no one, nice demo or actual like LP.
This is one of their LPs, and what made this band so special is they're a 3-piece, like I was saying, and Mark Sandman was the singer and bass player. He played a 2-string bass. That was his instrument of choice.
That's interesting.
Then they had a saxophone and a drummer. And that was how they made their sound. And they became like a world touring they have a sound that I'm like influenced by to this day, and I hate that I discovered them so late in life. But when I was working in the dispensary field, big shout out to my boy Mike Clinton. If anybody watches the podcast, Mike is one half of Zen Rights, who was on an earlier episode. They do the cartoon, and they have the children's book. They have the online comic. They have all sorts of stuff on there, Zen Rights Publishing. But Mike was the one who introduced me to morphine, and I've become obsessed for the last like 6-7 years, however long it's been. And they have an entire discography of incredible music that is unlike anything you've probably ever heard. And it's these same 3 instruments for the most part. Like, and the things that they do with them.
That's
just
impressive.
Yeah, it's unreal. And it's just so like soulful and like just hits you in the fucking feels. And what's sad is Mark ended up dying. Like he like had a heart attack like on stage basically.
No shit.
They were somewhere in like Italy or something like that. And so when you go to Central Square in Cambridge, out where the Middle East is, that part of town is called Mark Sandman Square. And it's named after him.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, morphine, one of the best fucking. I would literally put them up there as like, if you were holding a gun to my head and made me pick 10 favorite bands, they would probably be on that list without a doubt.
Okay, I guess we can start a little bit of that.
I'm not trying to make you do that. I just like it just was kind of, the correlation was to the point of, sometimes simplicity is the key to evolving things, and sometimes you haven't stepped out of your comfort zone enough, and that's why you have to keep evolving. And it's circumstantial for every kind of musician and where your starting point is.
Yeah, there's a lot of influences when it comes to a band's fruition or downfall or career, so to speak. Like, say, I'm trying to think like what I can. I guess Under Oath, yeah, as a piece of like maturing and unleashing that. Like when they were younger, they were a lot more hardcore, like way more hardcore and speed metal. Like 1999 and 2000, they were like amazingly deathcore. It was just amazing. But the eternal shift between people is like what kind of makes or breaks a band. And like there was a lot of downfall between like 90% of the band. The only real people, or the only OGs of that band, is Aaron and
the keyboard player too, right?
Aaron, the keyboard player, and the guitarist, the short guy.
Yeah,
like those are the only 3 main people that have stayed since then, in 25, almost 30 years at this point. We got to almost put them in the 30 category.
Yeah.
But they've changed hands. Like Norma Jean, when Aaron left and did his own shit, he had his own almost. Like he the almost, and he also had his own solo career. I saw him when he was
almost. I thought the almost was his solo career, because that was kind of his random ass music.
It was part of it, because he was playing guitar and singing at that time. And then like he had a couple of Christian solo albums, which
I know
not to toot anyone's horn, but like those what
I said, I've been there.
Those albums that he did with the Christian stuff, like I saw him on tour during that time. He had a tour, and he stopped over at a cafe auditorium in Derry. And it was like 60 people max, 90 people max. And like they had a meet and greet after, and it was cool. But like a lot of people got switched around. Norma Jean's drummer came in when he had that hiatus, and like Spencer got added. I think Define the Great Line,
facing the safety, right?
after chasing safety, definitely. So it's at some point he got switched. So, but that band's sound dynamic has changed drastically since then, going from outright Christianity to now they're completely disassociated from that and cut off, where they're like heavy as hell and they're going back to their roots. That's a very huge story for them to like go from heavy to Christianity to light back to heaviness, and like it's welcoming to see that happen.
Yeah, it's cool. I was looking for my I still have one of those big CD, like the leather like CD Case Logic like CD books, and I can almost guarantee you that I still have the Almost CD next to Under Oath.
What, Dirty Weather?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah. What a great album, dude. Just like joints that I never would have expected from him that just were like so friggin' cool and like so well done. It's that it's like not within my reach right now because I thought that would be cool. It's funny. Jonathan in the chat said, Cody, you have a lot of shit. And that is an understatement, my friend. I have far too much shit and it will not stop ever.
And that's just over years of collecting stuff, right?
Yeah, I literally started collecting movies when I was a kid, and I literally still have like some of my like childhood joints too. One of my like big things when I was a kid was my parents would always play Roger Rabbit for me.
Oh,
so,
hell yeah.
I still have like multiple copies of Roger Rabbit and an actual Roger Rabbit doll out by you've come and chilled at my living room, but Roger is one of the many characters on the back of my couch. And so so when I was a kid, I'm not to like get into a whole thing, but basically I like had to go to speech therapy because I just like wasn't talking until I was like 5 or 6 years old. And part of my like speech therapy was always reading comics, and so like I would bring in these like Batman comics and like read them on camera as like part of my class. And so that kind of led my obsession with Batman, and that led me into collecting Batman, but there wasn't a lot of Batman stuff at the time, obviously, and so I just fell in love with collecting movies, and I always like was either using, I started working when I was 14, and I would like go to Suncoast and like buy my favorite anime on DVD or whatever the case was, or I'd go to Walmart at midnight and get the new Batman stuff on like as soon as they put it out
at Strawberries and shit.
Yep. Dude, I remember buying concert tickets at Strawberries as well as CDs. I remember, dude, it's crazy. People don't even remember. There was a time where we had Strawberries and Coconut Records in Nashua at the same time. Coconut Records was in the mall where FYE is now.
In the mall?
Yep.
That's kind of impressive.
Yeah. It was dope.
Huh. And I know that
Records.
Didn't FYE buy out Strawberries, I think?
Wouldn't shock me.
Oh no, FYE. Who were they before? Might have been. No. Was it Strawberries?
I thought it was Coconut Records.
Because it was Strawberries, and then it was man, yeah, that made me think for a second, because remember FYE overtaking, so I didn't think it was Coconut Records. That might be an ignorant thing on my bad.
There might have been something in between that I don't remember, but
because stupid child me, I thought Strawberries went into Newberry Comics, but that was a two separate thing. Come to find out, I was like in my early 30s figuring that out.
We had two.
I also apologize for the drums because that's robotic hawks behind me coming back.
Those friggin' robotic hawks.
Is it actually like ruining the audio? Is it ruining the audio at all?
I mean, it is what it is, but we're almost at the hour mark anyways, so
I know you had more questions.
Huh?
I know you had more questions for me. I mean, like, also, like, music. I thought music-wise, I almost wanted to talk about Deftones for like 45 minutes straight, and that didn't happen. I'm like, dang it! It was just maturity amongst bands and stuff. That's a very good point to get across. Because you're not supposed to stay stale. You're not supposed to be the same.
Yeah, for real. No, you aren't kidding. It's like if you're not like trying new things and like expanding your sound a bit, then you're just like recycling the thing that you're comfortable with.
And that's why I like, different type of formats of metal or pop music or punk, or even punk. Punk has definitely matured itself away from just, the New York Dolls and Sex Pistols. You're getting a lot of breakdowns or even singing, regular singing. Like, I wasn't a huge fan, or I wasn't too big of a fan of NoFX, but I do understand how prevalent they were, and now that people have come to an understanding that NoFX have been the pioneers for years.
Yeah,
people are. I like seeing the new generation kind of go back to that, and that's why I like
some bass lines, bro.
Hmm?
Fat Mike has some bass lines.
Like a mofo.
Like
I
don't think people put enough respect on his name when it comes to the bass.
That dude was a monster. And he had a mind of his own. Like he didn't go figure, a punk kid, not confining. Like he had his own, ways about him, and almost like Buzz Osborne from the Melvins, where you get that certain punk edge where it's like, haha, you're really gonna get an FU from me. This isn't like, oh, I'm gonna be told a script. That you get those old cats that don't have that, not filter, but they don't care. And to see that like final circle coming back, but I like this new generation coming back into the reason why punk was the way it was, So what say you?
Oh, it was just funny because the same time you finished your sentence, there was like a little like, and then you were gonna start talking again, and they were like, "No, my turn."
It's straight delayed though.
That's funny as hell. So one thing we were talking about before the show started that would be good to close this thing up on is I had mentioned that I'm bringing back the Hellhound Film Club podcast with a new format, and Axile, my brother here, is going to be one of my guests on probably the first episode, honestly, because the way I have the scope of the series lined up is that the movies I chose are based on release dates that are near when the release date of the episode could be. So I'm recording them in advance, and starting in January, they're going to come out like every week. And I'm really excited about this. Anybody that's been like following Hellhound for a long time, I don't know how many of you guys are still out there, but we did Hellhound Film Club probably like pre-pandemic, like 2019, something like that. And we did a bunch of episodes that were audio only, like roundtables. And so like we would talk about like David Lynch or, like David Cronenberg or something of that effect. and everybody at the round table would just kind of like talk about favorite movies, impact on film, da 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 da. And I couldn't find enough people to do a weekly round table about movies, so that kind of fell by the wayside. And then I tried to bring it back earlier this year, which you guys can still support if you guys want, but there's a couple episodes on the channel of Hellhound Film Club that is like more visual friendly, and so it's just me doing a breakdown of the
Join
film.
the Patreon.
Thank you. Join the
Patreon.com/Hellbound Publishing.
But you can go watch a couple episodes that I did right now, and it's like you'll see clips from the movie and me talking about them and like facts about them and stuff like that. And those were really fun, but frankly, they just took a lot of time. And so it was hard for me to keep up with that. And so that's why we have the new format that we're introducing for next year. And what the plan is for that is that the guests that I do the episodes with are going to watch the movies with me, and then we're going to discuss them immediately after, and you guys will eventually be able to see those conversations when they get posted. We got some really cool events in the work as well, some like live podcasts where like we'll have an audience watching the movie with us and stuff. So I'm really excited to bring that back. Yeah, much love.
As well as, not to give too much away, but you and me have a thing that is going to potentially be in the works for next year as well. I don't know if you've said that at all, but since it's towards the end of the year, there's something that might be in the works. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm down to talk about it. I if anybody wants to rip it off now, we're coming for you. But basically, we've been cultivating this like heavy music program, and we'll save the name of it for now. But we're doing a heavy music program that is kind of inspired by like Headbangers Ball and things of that effect. And what the goal is to really put a spotlight on bands and artists and things like that from what we see in our scene, in our communities and stuff like that. And like when they have shows coming up, when they have music videos drop, when they have new albums coming out, and be able to not only share that with people, but also comment on it as well, and give people our opinions on it from the perspective of people that have been participants as musicians and fans for multiple decades now. And also covering some of the bigger stuff that we like, that it's like there's so much stuff out there in the world that some people just don't always know what's happening. It's like even like between Axile and I, we both love heavy music, but we both listen to like different segments of it. So oftentimes when we get together, we always have like new things to show one another. And it's like, I would have never looked for this on my own, but this is dope. And I listen to it because I trust you. You know what I mean? And so there's going to be an interesting dynamic of stuff like that on the program as well, and trying to get bands on there to interview them and talk about their stuff. So
and also like a think tank that like if other people can come in and think with us and talk with us about like how you feel about A, B, and C. It could be about songs, it could be about albums, it could be about bands, it could be about an era. Like there's many different areas of facets that we're trying to spotlight into the local scene, people that are in with us and with you, and make it an actual talking, and let's literally talk about music. It's literally about music. It's mostly actually 100% about music. Like I already thought about 2 different type of segments already, even just like sitting here and talking with you. So again, we're trying to do something different and trying to keep You know, we're trying to keep it fresh, and we're not trying to steal anybody's ideas or make it bigger than it seems. This is
I'm
just
literally just planning on recreating old episodes of Headbangers Ball and putting my friends' bands in there.
remember, it goes up to 11. It's a little bit louder. But why don't you just make 10 louder? Well, mine goes to 11. Do you have that? Do you have Spinal Tap?
I literally do. I'm trying to see if I have the VHS of it as well as like the DVD.
You should literally put that on the list.
I know, I really should. I don't know why the fuck that's not on the list, honestly.
Did you hear Death Box going on tour?
Speaking of Spinal Tap, though, fucking rest in peace, fucking Rob Reiner. That's crazy. That's just so nuts.
Yeah, that's a separate conversation.
Yeah, but there's no Spinal Tap without him. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, also like music documentaries too, as well as what is it? Behind the scenes stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm more into like the lore and thesis of watching behind the scenes stuff of how it's made. Like you and me were kind of talking about stagehandisms, where I'm kind of like ruined now. Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Rest in peace, Rob Reiner and his wife.
Yeah.
On the Spinal Tap.
Why don't you just make 10 louder? Mine goes to 11. I don't know. He made that in such a way that it was very ahead of its time. Obviously, it's a parody of itself, but that's who else was doing that? You know?
Yeah, it really was it really was gold. But yeah, all right. So we've hit like an hour and change here, and I see that people are tapping out. So thank you guys so much.
How about this? One last question for you.
Okay.
You as a friend here. What would you rather? What would you rather listen to? Korn or Limp Bizkit for the rest of your life?
Damn.
For the rest of your life, Korn or death is not an option.
Man, that's so tough because
I mean, like I'm excluding a lot of other bands, obviously, but like in the nu metal genre, Korn.
If you were gonna make me pick between those two bands, that would be a awful life to live. But Korn has some of my favorite stuff, like Got the Life. Like I don't even care. Like even now, Got the Life is like one of my favorite songs in like music videos. I just think it's awesome. And I love the stuff on Follow the Leader. I love the stuff before that, you know, like Blind and
Issues was my last album that I actually liked.
So but I feel like Korn's discography gets really less enjoyable after a certain period. And not that Limp Bizkit's catalog is like great, but if it's the only one I got out of the two, I think there's more Limp Bizkit for me to enjoy than there is Korn. As hard as it is for me to pick either one, I think I enjoy the stuff that I like from Korn more, but I think Limp Bizkit has more stuff that I could listen to overall for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that does make sense because of how trailed their both the high and lows of both bands you can kind of hear more of the let go of the old style with Korn, where Limp Bizkit's more of a almost every song's a banger or some type of heaviness. I only asked that just because of the in new metal, those are like the two top notches. I wasn't going to put those guys up against anything else, but like as a final think tank, those are the two that really stand out when it comes to new metal as powerhouses. No matter what they do, they have a following. So like between the two, as I kind of agree with you that I have a lot more Limp Bizkit songs that I can go back to than listening to Korn, because Korn I can only listen to like the first 3 or 4 albums.
Yeah, but those 3 or 4 albums, those are iconic. Those are like unreal, dude. Like, and that's what's so tough is, I even just stupid shit where I think about there used to be a standalone Newbury Comics, and that's that's where people went back in the day. They used to have a Korn basketball jersey on sale there, and I must have spent years of my life just looking at this thing being like, I want this thing so bad. It's so fucking cool. And never was able to get it. But
I saw the same thing at Hot Topic, only it was a Wu-Tang all yellow and black fucking outfit for like $55, and I'm like, son of a bitch, if I only had it. But like I really would have. But yeah, Korn with Adidas, it was a huge thing. Like the 90s was a huge thing. So
for real.
So I understand.
Oh man, this was a blast, dude. You might just have to like start co-hosting episodes with me more often.
No way.
Way.
It's almost like that's kind of in the works. Ha ha ha.
Chat.
I love being facetious.
Drop a comment if Axile should start co-hosting some episodes with me. It's nice to have somebody to bounce off of, and then when we bring guests on, you can like throw out questions that I didn't have prepared. And that,
like, what type of mac and cheese do you have? Do you like Velveeta, or do you like Kraft? Do you like that powdery shit, or do you like that real golden, fucking
shout out to Are You Garbage, because that's literally Are You Garbage in a nutshell right there.
Like I got questions, but I don't have questions. I got the wrong questions for the right people.
Oh my gosh. This was
let's take it back to the beginning. I heard with Al Caprillion that people in the front row of his demonstrations needed to have ponchos because of how bad he spit. I don't know if that's a real thing.
I hope so. That would be gangster if that was real.
I don't know. I've heard testimonies that he's a bad spitter when he was talking. So again, that's a deep cut to have Al Caprillion as part of it too, as your montage, your inner montage. Like that's an automatic 10+ brownie points in New Englandism.
Yeah.
Like, no one can tell you're not from New England,
motherfucker.
You met Al Caprillion.
Like I have to be the next New Hampshire person on Wikipedia. Somebody's got to help me out with that. Somebody out in the world should get me a Wikipedia page somehow, some way.
Get this man a wiki. Get this man a wiki.
That's my goal for 2026. I know Al Caprillion, fam. I know ADM.
Do you have a wiki? I don't have a wiki. Do you have a wiki?
No.
Yeah. 2026. We need wiki.
It's like somebody has to like make it on your behalf. You can't like make it for yourself. It's like
who says?
I think they do, honestly.
No.
It's not like a thing where you just go and like
yourself. You can't like make your own wiki. You have to have somebody else make it.
It's like coded.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. If any of you guys know, help me out. It'd be cool.
Hashtag Cody Pope Wiki. Hashtag Cody Pope Wiki. Let's get it.
I would love to be like the lowest mentioned person of note from New Hampshire. Like, be like me, I9, Al Caprellian, ADM,
Fee.
Mandy
Fee.
Moore,
Yo, shout
Ray
out to Fee, though.
Ray
Shout out
LaMontagne
to
is
Fee.
probably the most successful of us all.
Ah, man. I love the scene.
I feel that. Yo, thank you guys so much for rocking with us tonight. This was a blast. I'm going to make Axile co-host some other episodes with me in the future. Be on the lookout for everything he has going on at Thraxx Drums on YouTube, on Instagram. You can find him all over the place.
Hyrulean Gamer.
Hyrulean Gamer on YouTube.
I do video games and shit.
See, you got gaming, you got music. You can catch him playing drums for Dead Harrison, Stone Shadows, Dank
Sinatra.
Cody Pope and the Keyholders.
We're back, mofo.
Much love to everybody in the comments. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Appreciate you guys so much. Saw some new friends, some old friends. This was really cool. The next 2 weeks are going to be really fun episodes. Next week is our Christmas movie marathon. So I'm hoping everybody starts thinking about their favorite Christmas movies. Save those for next week's episode. And then the week after that is going to be our best of 2025 episode. My homie Steve Kalageropoulos is going to be back on the pod. If you guys remember him from, we did an episode that I think the computer crashed while we were live. So you heard some of what we did. But Steve's going to be back in action hanging out. We're going to bring some other guests on as well. We're going to talk about favorite movies, favorite music, favorite shows, favorite venues, favorite everything of the year. So think about your favorite Christmas movies and your favorite everything else. Axile, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Much love.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Absolutely. This was a blast.
Yeah, I know the first time was a little bit rocky and, abrupt and, last minute. And I'm sorry that this one was exactly the same, abrupt and last minute. But I appreciate that you give me a platform to talk to you about music and how we feel about it. I love it.
Dude, I love it, man. It's a blast. Make sure you guys go follow him at Thraxx Drums. Everywhere you look, type it in. You'll find him. Much love, homie. I'm going to see you real soon. Preach. As for everybody else, thank you guys for rocking with us. I appreciate you guys so much. The wheels are turning again. Things are going to be happening. Obviously, as you guys know, Hellhound for the holidays this past weekend was my last show for a while. I'm really working on recording some new music, getting this podcast stuff together, and I'm going to be booking some shows far out. I'm working on some tours and some show trades and stuff like that. So I'm excited for everything the new year has in store. Please go back and check out some of those Hellhound Film Club episodes right here on the Hellhound Publishing YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody that tuned in to rock with us tonight. This was a blast. You guys are the best, and I will see you next week. Preach.
Cody Central's written and produced by Cody Pope for Hellhound Publishing. If you'd like to sponsor the program and have your brand, podcast, or service featured, learn more about that today at www.hellhoundpublishing.com/Cody-Central. Additional ways to support the program include purchasing music, joining our Patreon for exclusive content, or simply donating at any of the links available in the QR codes above.
I certainly feel sorry for you.